Good morning, Internet. This is Alex the Sudokus, and it is Tuesday, the 13th of October 2020, and we have another medium New York Times Sudoku for us today. So, let's dive right in with some Snyder notations. So, what we do is we go around the numbers from 1 to 9, and we are going to pencil mark in any cells within each cage being a grid of 9 cells, and the cells being an individual square, and try and place some pencil markings where a number can be. And but with Snyder notations, we'll only stick to pencil marking in a cage when there are only 2 candidates. If there's only 1 candidate, we'll actually put in the number. But if there are only 2 candidates, we're going to pencil mark them in. So let's see it in action. So I can't do anything with ones. I can't do anything with twos either. What about threes? I can place a pair of threes in this cage. So threes, if I look at these 2 threes, they rule out the columns, and with this 3, it rules out the rows. So there are only 2 candidates left. Whereas if I look at, for instance, the twos, I've got 3 possible candidates. So based on Snyder notations, we're going to leave it for now. So let's see, can I do any more pencil markings with threes? I don't think I can, but I can place a 4 in here because of these 2 4s ruling out the rows and these 2 4s ruling out the columns in this cage. So 4's can also go in these 2 cells within this cage because of that 4 and that 4. So anything else going on? I think that's it. So let's move on to 5s. 5s doesn't look like I've got anything I can mark in, so let's carry on with 6. 6s can go in there because of this 6 and that's 6. So this forms what's called a pointer pair. And when we've got 2 numbers lined up horizontally or vertically within a cage, it basically acts as kind of point outside a cage, essentially. But in this case, this is horizontal. It means within this row, the 6 has to go in one of these 2 cells because those are the only 2 possible positions within the cage. So we can rule out these 2 cells because they can't contain a 6 without interfering with the only possible locations within the cage. So with that, I draw a line with those 2 6s and a 6 over here, and I can rule out those 2 rows, and this 6 rules out that column, and allow me to place another pair of 6s. So let's carry on and see if I can do any more. Well, I can place another 2 6s up there because of that 6 and that 6. So again, that creates a pointed pair of 6s, ruling out these 3 cells. So the only 2 possible positions for the 6 in this cage are here. But I've got 6 looking into that cell as well, so there's only 1 possible 6. So following this rule, I'm just going to continue to go around the board and place out 6s. So what about 7s? I've only got 1 7. So that's kind of useful to keep on the back of my mind that 7 is a weak number. Sometimes it's useful, a lot of times it's not. 8, I can place them in there. So I've only got 2 8s, so it's quite easy to just look at the cages that they overlap and then look beyond a little bit. See if there are any additional 8s that I can pencil mark in based on a single 8. For instance, in this cage, a single 8 is able to give me 2 candidates. So 9, and 9s are similar to the 8. I've got a pair of 9s there. So I think that's one of the 9s I can pencil mark in. And it's something interesting for us. So the 9s share the same 2 cells as the 4s within this cage. And that is useful and important because it forms what's called a matching pair. So the 4s and 9s are matching each other in the same 2 cells. And what that means is if one of them is a 4, the other has to be a 9. And if the other is the 4, then this has to be a 9. There's no other number can go in these 2 cells, and therefore the 7 can't possibly exist in either of these 2 cells. That means that can't be a 7 anymore. So I'm going to erase the pencil marking. And with Snyder notations, when we erase the pencil marking, the other number within the cage has to be correct, has to be the only candidate left. With that in mind, I can place the 7 now. So if I carry on with the logic within this cage, 4, 4 and 9 take up these 2 cells, so no other numbers can go in there. And I've got 3 numbers remaining, 2 of which have to live in these 2 cells. That means the remaining number has to live in this cell, and therefore that has to be the 5. So that 5, we're going to start following the numbers that we've placed and see if I can do anything additional with it. So for example, these 2 5s and that 5 effectively locks a pair of 5s in here, in this cage, so that's useful. This 5 also interacts with these 2 5s within this cage, so whenever there are 3 interactions, typically you're able to place the pair of pencil markings, and I was able to do that in this cage, and I think that's all I can do with the 5. So what about 7s? Well, 7s are no longer as weak as before. I've got 2 7s now, but I still can't do anything special with it. So with that in mind, I'm going to look a bit further. I'm going to look around the grid a little bit and see if there's anything interesting going on. So what I typically like to do is I do break out of the slider notations a little bit. If the cage only has 3 digits left, if only 3 cells left, then they have to form a triple. And in that case, it's quite safe to put in all the pencil markings without confusing ourselves. So the reason I use slider notations is because it keeps the board quite clean and still typically allow us to solve the puzzle rather than placing all the pencil markings, which can make the board quite cluttered and quite hard to read. So with that in mind, I'm going to put in all the 2s, all the 7s that can go in this cage, and it's still not particularly cluttered. I just need to remember when I place a number there to raise the other candidates, and that will form hopefully just a pair left, whether I can place a 2, a 7, or an 8 in the near future. So, so what I'm going to do is look at weak areas once I've done a round of notations. And weak areas are basically any rows, columns, or cages with 3 or less available cells left. So in this cage, I've got 3 candidates left. I've got 3 cells left, so that's a weak area. I haven't done anything like that with the rows and columns. And whilst I've been expanding to do 4, oh no, that's 5 actually, to look at like 4 cells at a time outside of kind of when I'm doing hard Sudoku, so I tend to look at 4 sets of 4s at a time. But being a medium puzzle, I'm going to refrain from doing that and try and solve this without expanding to like considering 4 cells that week. And what we're going to do instead is do another round of notations and see if it reveals any additional information for us. So since we've placed a few numbers, the nature of the board has changed a little bit. And that means if I look through the numbers again, I will likely find new placements, new pencil markings. And what's useful to know is I've placed 4, 5, 6, and 7. Those are the only numbers I've placed. So the biggest number is 7. And since I go from 1 to 9, that means I only need to go through 1 to 6 now, because if there are any potential candidates for 8 and 9, I would probably have placed them already, because I would have done them after I placed the 7. So there's no point in going through 7, 8, and 9 now, because I've already done them. Unless, of course, during my round, I'm able to place more numbers, then the board would have changed since I did 8 and 9. So let's just see how we get on. And so I can't see anything with 1s, so but I can see a pair. Oops, I can see a pair of 2s because of these 2s. And let's see, 2s. Can't do anything more with 2s, so let's have a look at 3s. 3s are pencil marked in there already. Okay, there's something interesting going on with the 3s, but I'm gonna hold fire for a sec. No, I will talk about what's going on with the threes. So, if we look at what threes can go in these three cages, so at the moment, that three rules out those three cells. So I've got threes in these three cells. Over here, I've got threes in these four cells. In this cage, I've got 6 possible places full of three. But what you find is the only cage that has three in this column is the middle cage. So the rule of thumb of what I do is I still visualize where the threes are, where the candidates are in a cage, even if I'm not going to pencil mark them in. Oh, sorry, got a bit of gas. So in the cage, I'm able to lock the threes down in the columns 1 and 2, and in this cage, already locked in columns 1 and 2, even without the interference of the 3. Oh, God, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to sneeze now. So, I'm not having a very productive morning, I'm afraid. See if my nose helps it. So, when I've got commonalities with two cages where the 3 have to be locked in the same 2 columns, in this case columns 1 and 2, then the remaining cage here in the vertical alignment has to have 3 locked in column 3, basically. So the only column remaining has to contain some sort of 3s. So therefore, with that in mind, I'll assume that 3 has to go in one of these 3 cells. Another way of looking at it is, if I look at this column on its own, the 3 feeds into that cell. So the only thing is, I don't typically look at columns by columns anymore. I used to when I first started out, but with Snyder notations, you don't tend to need to do that anymore. And so I'm able to arrive at the same logic where the 3 go in these 2 cells within this column by just basically visualizing where the 3s can be in these cages. And I can see 3s have to be cages in columns 1 and 2 in these 2 cages. So therefore, it has to be in column 3 in the remaining cage. So that's another way of finding it. So that pair of 3s over there. I do apologise for all the noise I'm making, but yeah, I tend to get the sniffles in the morning. So thank you for putting up with me. For those who still continue to watch my videos. Okay, so those are the 3s. Can I do any more 3s? I don't think I can. No. Let's move on to 4s. So 4s. 4s not giving me any places with any cases with 2 candidates. So let's move on to 5s. 5s. 5s already locked. So 5s are in this column. 6. Oh dear, so this is the last number I was going to look at, 6. And if I can't do anything with this, then that means I'm officially stuck in terms of basic Snyder notation. So I'm a bit surprised by that. Because mediums, you tend to be able to solve it by going by Snyder notations. 6s, can't find anything because I've got 3 possible candidates here. So, okay, that's quite surprising. I'm just going to look at 7, 8, and 9 again just to make sure I haven't missed anything. So sometimes I kind of, with the lapse of concentration, probably from all the note blowing, I have a tendency of missing things. So let's see. Okay, so I did miss something. I missed the 8s in this column because basically 8s are locked in these 2 columns and 8s are locked in these 2 columns as well. So, in fact, the same thing is happening with 9s. So, 3, 8, and 9 all feeds into this cell here. So, 8, 9, and 3 are locked in these 3 cells, actually. 3, 8, and 9 are locked in columns 1s and 2s in both of these 2 cages, actually, if you look at it. So, sometimes you need to use a bit of memory to kind of like notice these kind of situations. And in fact, we can actually lock the 3 and the 9 in the same two cells. So that means the 8 has to go in here, basically. So that should unlock the puzzle for us. So, I've got some parts of attack right now. But first I'm going to look at this now, because look at this column. I've got 3 and 9 locked in the same two cells. So by the same logic where 3 and 9 can't contain any other digits within the cage, they can't contain any digits. Bearing in mind, we already know that these have to be 3s and 9s, and there can't be any other numbers. So we know there's a rigid 3 and 9 locked in these two cells, form a matching pair, and on this column, no other numbers can go in there. So therefore, the only remaining digit, which is a 1, has to go elsewhere on the column. So that gives me a 1. The other thing I can do is with the 8. I can undo this pencil marking and notice that in this cage, I've only got one place left for the 8. It's here, so that's another solution. And if I look further, these two 8s also locks a pair of 8s in these two cells. But I've got an 8 seeing into this one, so 8 has to go here. So now these two 8s locks a pair of 8 over there. So making some progress now. And these two 8s, if I continue on with the 8, locks the pair of 8s over there. So most of the 8s are pencil marked in, with the exception of these ones. So let's move on then. What else can I do? So let's look at this cage here. I'm going to ignore these two cells with the 3s and 9s and look at these 4 cells instead, because these two cells are completely out of play. They can't contain any other digits anyway. So we've got 4 numbers in these four cells, and I've already pencil marked in 2 of them. So what I like to do, if there's a blank cell, there should always be a blank cell. Well, actually no, not always, but in this case we've got a blank cell. So what I like to do is just have a quick look and see what are the remaining numbers, the 1 and 3. Well, actually this can be a 1 or 3, but I look at 1 are locked in these two cells, but I can't unlock any digits because the 3 can go in any other cells. Oh, that's a lie. No, it's not 1 and 3. It's because I've got 3s in there already. It's actually 1 and 7. But 7 can still go in any other cells, so that wasn't useful for me. Okay. So we play some 8, so and a 1. So the board by nature has changed a little bit. So it is worth having a look around now, see if we can place any more pencil markings. So I'm going to start with the 1s. The 1s can go there because that 1 locks that pointed pair of 1s on the horizontal line forces the pair of 1s down here, because this one locks the column as well. So anything else I can do? Not the 1s, so what about the 2s? I can see. Nope. So what about 3s? 3s. Nothing on 3s. I'll be very surprised if I get nothing from the markings going forward, because this is usually the stage where a puzzle is solvable. So 6 locked in there. Unusual. So 6 locked in there. So I'm not making any head weight still, which is quite surprising. 7, 8. I know 8's already done because I looked at it. So 9. Wow. The puzzle is not solved yet. So how peculiar. Okay, so yeah, can't do this right now yet, but I did notice while I was scanning that 3, 8, and 9 also occupy these 3 cells as well. I should have spotted that earlier as well. So the 3, the 8, and the 9 actually oversees these 3 cells. They actually, not only do they lock did they lock the 3, 8, and 9 there, they also lock the 3, 8, and 9 in these 3 cells. So that forms a triple. So triples are worth pencil marking them in. So that leaves me with 2. So just like the matching pairs, triples are basically 3 numbers rather than 2 numbers locked in 2 cells. It's 3 numbers locked in 3 cells. So that should give us some useful information. So that means the only remaining digits in this cage are 7s and 5s. Well, I've got 5 sitting into that cell, so the 5 can only go here, the 7 can go there. So today's puzzle is actually fairly hard by the look of it, by kind of basic standards. So 7 and that 7 locks a pair of 7s in here, and that is useful because I've already placed all 4 numbers in these 4 cells. The 1 and 6 are clearly in these 2 cells, and 2 and 7s. If you kind of focus on these 2 cells, you'll see that the 7s share the same 2 cells as the 2 as well. So that basically, as a matching pair, forces the 6 and the 1 out of these 2 cells. So I've just erased a pencil marking for both the 1 and the 6. So that confirms the 1 and the 6. So, sorry, just trying to clean my nose a little bit. So that's a pair of 6s down here and a pair of 1s down here. Okay, so anything else I can do? I don't think that is actually, surprisingly enough. 6 and 6 aren't resolvable over there either. So, I think it's worth looking at the weak areas now around the board. I've got a weak area of 2 cells on this row, so the only possible candidates are the 4s and the 7s, but I can't place either of them, so I'm not going to pencil mark them in. I'm not going there on separate cages because it can confuse things. What I am going to do is I am going to look at them and see if I can find any other 4s and 7s elsewhere on the columns. I can't, so just as well, because I think that will be a fairly advanced technique that's typically reserved for hard puzzles. Have I got any more weak areas? 3. Oh, I've got 2 and 7 locked as a matching pair on this row, so that means there are only 2 cells remaining, and they are 3s and 9s. So that's actually a 3 and 9 as well. So fortunately, it's not very useful for me. Oh, that is interesting, actually. That is useful. So this is quite, this is a fairly advanced technique. But what's really interesting is if I look at the 3 and 9, so I'm going to pencil mark them in as the 3 and 9. But one of the tricks is I've been using quite a lot. I learned from another YouTuber. So 3 and 9 can go in this cage. Both the 3s or 9s in this cage. So I know the 3s are in these 2 positions. But if I try and find 3 and 9s, well, I know horizontally I've got the matching pair of 3s and 9s. But if I look at the column vertically, you find that the 3s and 9s are going to go in these 3 cells because I've got 3 and 9 up there already. And 3 and 9 can't go there either. Oh, hang on, no. No, I have. Okay. Sorry, ignore what I was thinking because I've got 9 in there. So, yeah, I haven't ruled out 3s and 9s actually. So, okay, so is that another dead end then? Yeah, sometimes I jump to conclusions too quickly and get confused. So I think I need to try and do some more pencil markings because we haven't made any huge progress. We do have another 3 and 9 down here though, which is quite funny because 3, 8 and 9, I've got an 8 here and I'm looking for 3, 8 and 9 on that column. So this is 3 and 9. So there seems to be some sort of like 3 and 9 thing going on. 3, 9, 3 and 9, 3 and 9, 3 and 9. Don't think if it means anything, but I'll probably chuckle if I find another pair of 3 and 9 later on in the grid. But for now, let's try and do some more pencil markings. I think we played some 1 and 6, so it is worth having a look and see if that changes the grid in any way at all. So 1s, 2s, I'd be skeptical if these have unlocked anything at all. 3, 3, 3, 3, 4. So I guess medium puzzle today's Sudoku, New York Times Sudoku is actually fairly hard. 5, 6. 6 is all pencil marked in as far as I can see, so 7s. 7s are locked in these 3 styles, but that's not useful for us. 8. 8 are locked in there. 9s. So 9s, if you look at them, they're locked in the same 3 styles as the 3s and 5s, so that forms another triple actually. Quite interesting actually. Yeah, quite a lot of like triples, bent triple kind of forming within cages. So the effect that has is it's formed another triple on the row as well. So these 3 tiles are all 3, 5, and 9s. So if we look at the row, there are 2 cells left, and they have to be 2s and 7s, but I've got 7 down here, so that actually unlocks the 2. So that's quite a relatively challenging way of unlocking this puzzle. But if I follow the 2s and 7s chain, it will unlock all these numbers. So any more chains? Nope. But I think now I should be in a position to unlock this puzzle now. So I know 7s are down here, so there's another triple on this row. So let's see. We've made a fair bit of changes. Let's see if we can solve this puzzle now. So 1s, 2s, 2s are now locked in these 2 cells because of these 2s and that 2. And also up here, they're locked in 2 cells because of this 2 and that 2. So that means 2 has to go in here. So that's it. So with that, we've got the 4 in this row as the final digit. So that means there's a pair of 4s over here because of these 2 4s and that 4 over there. So what about vertically? Pair of 4s are locked down here because of these 2 4s and that 4. So that's all 4s pencil marked in. Any other progressions that I can make? Got a 1, 6, 8 triple on this column, but I don't think I can do anything with it. So let's stay on the numbers. I did 4s now, didn't I? So let's move on to 5s. Can I do anything else with the 5s? Nope. Let's look at 6s. No, 6s are pencil marked in. 7s. Locked in these 2 cells because of these 2 7s and that 7 over there. I'm getting a bit anxious that I'm still not able to completely unlock this puzzle. It's 8s who have no movement. 9s, I haven't got many 9s either, so I wouldn't have thought that this is going to unlock anything for us. So, wow. For medium puzzle, today's New York Times Sudoku is really pulling out all the guns. Okay, let's have a look in this cage. What have I pencil marked in? I think more to the point, what haven't I pencil marked in? So the ones that are over there, I have put in 1s, 3s. So 3s are in these cells. So they aren't any naked digits by the look of it. Yeah, but chances are, judging by pre-indications, there may be another triple that's like hidden somewhere. So let's see. 4s and 7. You could look for weak areas as well. Although I'm not seeing any. But I wonder if there's something going on in this row. So if we look at this, and 8 can't go there. This can be a 7. Can't be a 7 and 8 because of that. This can't be a 7, so it can be an 8. No, that's not useful at all, so that was a waste of time. I'm really surprised by how difficult this puzzle is. I feel I should look at the cage as well. It's going to be in one of these cages where there will be some sort of a triple going on that's going to unlock the puzzle. So let's see, 1, 6. Any other numbers locked? So 3s are free roaming. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8s are down there, and 9s can be anywhere. So, so 3, 8, and 9. But I'm showing this house. I'm not actually sure what I'm missing now, so blimey, getting stuck on a medium puzzle. So this is feeling a bit embarrassing, and I'm just kind of like stressing out trying to find the key to unlocking it. So let's have a quick scan. I'm going to stop talking for a second and just really focus on the puzzle a little bit too. Maybe that I'm just being distracted and missing something obvious. 3s, 3s. Nope. 4s. 4s are down here. 5. 6. 7. Now, what's going on in this cage here? 3s and 7s go in the same 4 cells. Does that mean anything? Don't think it does. Because I've got 1 in here as well. No. 8. 9. So 7 and 9s also live in the same cells. I'm really not sure how to solve this with Snyder notations without going beyond what I normally do. So, okay, I'm going to break the routine a little bit. I am going to look at, well, I don't even have 4 quadruples to look at. So I feel I need to look at these columns and see if there's something like hidden somewhere. In fact, one thing I haven't done is look at weak numbers because I've not used that in a while. So, okay, what numbers are weak? Let's go through them. 1, I've got 3 candidates. Sorry, I've got 3 1s, lots of 2s. I've got 3 3s, lots of 4s, lots of 5s, lots of 6s, lots of 7s, lots of 8s. I've only got 2 9s, so 9s are weak, relatively speaking. So I'm going to see if the 9s actually reveals anything. So what I would do is look at the rows and columns and cages that interact with the nines, focusing on the blank cells and see if there's a naked number to start with. So here, by naked number, I'm basically thinking, okay, let's put all the numbers in a cell and let's strip them away. So I can strip away the 9, 8, 4, 6, 2, 7. So that leaves me with a 1, 5, and 3. So that's not naked because there are 3 possible numbers. So this is also a blank cell, but I already know this is at least missing a 1 and a 3. So that's not useful. Okay, so let's look at this cell because there seems to be quite a lot of numbers overlapping. So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Ah, there we go. So this number is actually a naked 6 because it can see a 1, a 2. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, a 3, a 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. So this is actually a 6. So that unlocks some 1s and 6s over there and locks a pair of 1s there, creating a 1-2 pair. So the matching pair allows me to remove the 4, confirming the 4 down there. So the 4 just erased a 7, the 7 just erased an 8, and the 8 just erased a 5, and that forms a chain reaction. This 4 also erases the 4 over there, unlocking the 4 and 9, and the 4 unlocks over there. So I'm kind of beating myself up a little bit because, okay, the 9 also unlocks a 3 and 9 over there, but also the 3 and 5 in here. So it turns out it's just kind of looking at the weak numbers and finding a naked single that way. So really disappointing myself because I used to follow that routine where I would look at the weak numbers. I'm just going to do some more pencil markings in now whilst I'm talking through it. But one of my first strategies in the past would be to, okay, so 3 has to go in one of these 2 cells in this row, but I've got 3 up there, so the 3 can't go in this cell, it has to be over there instead. And this is actually a 9, so that locks another 9 there. And so these are now 3s and 3s and 8s. And 3 has to go there, 8 has to go there. And yeah, but basically in recent weeks, I've noticed I've not had to use weak numbers to solve any puzzles, so kind of over time I forgot about it and I stopped using it. And turns out today's puzzle could easily have been solved by just finding that naked single, so it might have helped us solve the puzzle much earlier as well, in which case I've really wasted everybody's time by not looking at weak numbers like I normally do straight away. Just kind of like focused on the triples and whatnot. These things happen. You can't beat yourself up too much, but I'm just kind of like disappointed that it goes to show like routines are good. It's good to kind of focus on what has what are effective strategies, I suppose, and stick to them to try and solve puzzle basically. Because when you break out the norm, you end up beating yourself up for not solving it with really basic technique. So apologies for that. I still hope today's kind of puzzle is semi-useful, and if so, please leave a like and subscribe, but I totally understand if you don't, especially given the terrible performance there. Otherwise, I shall see you tomorrow. Bye.